So this is the look that I have created today. I used pretty much all drugstore products except for on my eyebrows because I don't have any favorite drugstore brow products right now. But I haven't done a drugstore video in a really long time, so I thought I would make this a kind of daytime glam look that you can create with stuff from the drugstore. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great whatever you are doing, and if you want to see how I created this look, then please keep on watching. So I've already primed my face with two products from Maybelline. The first one is the new Master Prime by Face Studio. Mine is in Blur and Illuminate. And then the second one is the Baby Skin, just to kind of hide some of my pores through the center of my face. Then for foundation, I picked up the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Effect, the new and improved formulation. I've used this twice, and I don't know how I feel about it as of right now, but I figured I would go ahead and use it again today because I am going to do a full review and application video of this. But today I'm just pumping it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use my Real Techniques buffing brush. First, I'm going to spray some of that with Fix Plus, just to stop some absorption of product. And I'm just going to buff this in. You get a much lighter application with this than you would, or using a brush, than you would a beauty blender. Because when I was using a beauty blender, I got a very, definitely medium coverage with this, and now it's kind of like just straight light coverage with this brush, which might be better for this foundation if I'm being completely honest. While I was waiting for my foundation to set, I did go ahead and do my brows. I do feel like you have to let this foundation set, because if you go ahead and just put something over top of it right away, I don't feel like it ever sets throughout the day. Like, it stays very tacky and very movable. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to go ahead and conceal around my face with my Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Concealer. And just kind of pat that in with my finger, and then go in with my brush and just push that in, just to make sure everything is blended. Then to highlight the high planes of the face, I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Conceal. I feel like I'm sticking pretty good with drugstore with this so far. And I'm going to use this e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush just to blend all of this in. And then I'm going to go back over that with my foundation brush, just so it's not quite as harsh, and it looks much more harsh on camera than it does in person. I promise. Then to conceal under my eyes, I'm just going to use my Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer today. I'm going to take that right in the inner corner and then just spread that out. Then I'm just going to use the same brush I have been using, which is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. This brush is $3 if you're curious. I'm just going to buff that out. Then again, just over the edges of that, I'm going to stipple with my foundation brush, just so there's not a harsh, obvious highlight line there. To set under my eyes, I'm going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte Transparent Powder. So this one won't add any coverage or color, it'll just set everything. I'm going to set my face using my Coty Airspun Loose Powder and my Duo Fiber brush from Real Techniques, just so I'm not caking on the powder today. Then, because I do want to try to keep this drugstore, I'm going to use this Pixie bronzer in this shade Subtly Sun Touched for contouring today. This is a little bit more expensive at like Target or something like that, but it's still not as expensive as like Chanel. But anyway, I'm contouring. Then for highlight today, I'm going to use this Revlon version of a Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick, and this is called Rose Glow. And I'm just using a stippling brush, and I'm just going to actually swirl my brush all the way in there and just hit the high planes of the face again. So then moving on to blush, I'm going to use some of this Almay Smart Shade Blush in number 20 Nude. I honestly don't really feel like this shows up on my skin as anything, but I like layering blushes, so then I'm going to use this blush from the brand City Color in Fresh Melon. I believe this brand is available at Rite Aid. That is really the only place I've ever seen this brand. Then because with this blush and only this blush do I tend to get kind of heavy-handed, I'm going to just go back with my stippling brush and blend that out a bit. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Color Tattoo by iStudio from Maybelline in the shade Tough as Taupe. This is a gray. And I'm just going to take my ring finger and apply that all over my lid and up into the crease a bit just to prime my lids. Really big deal. And then just so there's not a harsh edge, I'm going to take a blending brush and blend out all of that. Then I'm going to take my Real Techniques shading brush and just dip it directly into the product and run that under my lower lash line. And I'm going to kind of make that outer corner of the lash line a little bit darker than everything else. Then I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. long-lasting lustrous eyeshadow. I believe this is called Soiree or something like that. The name is not printed anywhere on the actual product. It's on the box that the product comes in. But then I'm going to just take my finger again and run this all over the lid. Now that I think about it, you could actually just use the Color Tattoo in Pomegranate Punk, which I have, and I don't know why I didn't just use that. And then I'm just taking a blending brush, again, the same one I used, and just blending out that edge. And then I'm just going to reapply that color again and blend out that edge again. Then going back with my shading brush, I'm just still in this e.l.f. shadow. I'm just going to run that under my lower lash line as well. So then, what did I do next? Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to take a Soho fluffy brush. This is my favorite fluffy brush of all time. And I'm going to use Milani's Bella Cafe as my transition shade. I'm just going to place that just above the crease, so not getting on the lid with this, just... Then for my lid color, I'm going to use this L'Oreal Infallible shadow in Blinged and Brilliant. This is one of my favorite eyeshadows from the drugstore. I love this so much. And just on a stiff flat brush, I'm going to pack this all over the lid. And that kind of red tone from this e.l.f. eyeshadow will show through underneath this and give it a little bit more of a pink quality. And I'm also just taking that right into the tear duct, and I'm just going to use this color as my inner corner highlight as well. because I did leave the tear duct blank. And then I'm going to take this just on the lower lash line a bit. Then picking up another Milani shadow. This one is in Bella Espresso, and it is a couple shades darker than the one that we used. And just on a little bit of a smaller fluffy brush, I'm just going to put this in the outer half of the crease, and I am placing this directly into my crease as well. Then going back to my shading brush, I'm going to take this same Bella Espresso shadow and run that on the outer portion of the lower lash line as well. Then just going back into my bigger fluffy brush here with no additional product on it, I'm just going to run it over everything and make sure everything is nice and blended. Then I'm going to go back into Blinged and Brilliant and reapply some of that on the inner corner area of the lid. And then again, just to blend out any edge created by doing that, I'm going to use my fluffy brush and just gently back and forth where I place the product down. Then to create some definition around the upper lash line, I'm going to use this other L'Oreal Infallible shadow in the shade Continuous Cocoa. And this is an incredibly dark brown. It's almost black. And this is a matte finish one. And I'm just going to use an angled brush and apply that right at the roots of my lashes. And that just kind of gives a nice soft liner effect, not really having eyeliner on, but it kind of just gives a little bit of definition to the eye. Makes everything look a little bit more nice, in my opinion. Then moving on to mascara. First, I'm going to curl my lashes. What I'm going to use is the Rimmel Wonder Lash. This is the new one with argan oil, and I really like the way this looks for a daytime look, and I feel like that's what I've achieved today. Maybe. So I'm using this, and I'm going to apply a few generous coats of this to my lashes. For lips, I'm going to keep it really simple and use one product, and use the new Show Off Lip Velvet from Rimmel. These are the matte ones. This one is in the shade Apollo. So I'm just going to put this all over my mouth. And that completes this full face drugstore tutorial. And you could definitely pair this with a darker lip or a brighter lip because the eyes are so neutral. Definitely, if you were going out, I would pair this with a funky, bright lip, possibly. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.